also, because I know you're a big pitching guy, before we get to our last topic, what are your thoughts and your opinion on pitching being so dominant this year? What, six no hitters? You want to include seven with Bumgarner's? I wouldn't even be mad at that. Um, I think Theo Epstein said on Bill Simmons' podcast that the average time of balls in play right now, so it's like over 4 minutes, even close to five. I mean, I know you love pitching. I love pitching too. How important though is it for the ball to be in play and for us to have action in baseball? Like, how important is that?
It's the most important thing that's missing from the game right now. Beyond kind of the stoppages would be the other thing, but having the ball in play, having action, having speed. I know we're going to talk about Lofton in a minute. He's like
Yeah,
the dictionary definition of what's missing in the game right now.
yeah,
Um, that is key. Now, I've always kind of thought that pitching this, if there's ever going to be like stars of the game, if we were trying to like rebrand baseball, you would go to the pitchers because their impact on the game to game is so heavy. I mean, the one guy that's affecting every pitch in the game is the pitcher, right?
yeah.
So the way that like a LeBron can control a game in the NBA, the only guy within a baseball game that's ever going to be able to do that is the pitcher. So having dominant pitching in a way is good. It could create some stars that way, but it's also taking some excitement out of the game because of the way method it's being used right now. All the strikeouts, all the walks, the way that things have swung, and the hitters kind of playing into it with the fact that it's really hard to string together 3 hits in a row right now. So we're just trying to hit home runs because that's an automatic run or two or three or whatever. It's just tough. So I really do think, there's been a number of suggestions made about how to kind of affect change, moving the mound back, lowering it perhaps, the shift, which isn't a pitching thing, but would also help. But my biggest thing is actually regulate the baseball and what pitchers are putting on it. It's probably the hardest thing to do too, because you could say, well, my third baseman had stuff on his glove or whatever. But if you did that, and I've heard Trevor Bauer talk about this,
Yeah.
but supposedly he's using the stuff now, but before all that, he talked about that's the one thing: decrease spin rate, make pitching less lethal, and more balls would automatically be put in play that way. You wouldn't have to change a rule to do that. You literally just got to follow the rules that are on the book right now.
Yeah.
To me, that's the first step, the simplest move you can make to kind of start rectifying this, because the game is, like you said, 4 minutes between balls and play. It's just too much at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and it's. I think I heard Marassi say this on MLB Network a couple days ago, and I think a lot of fans, they say, "Oh, we need to speed up the game. It's too long." I mean, look, a football game is really the same amount of time. The difference is in football, there's action, constant action. Uh,
Yeah.
I think in baseball, that's all it really is. I think it's not. We need to games are too long. It's just in those 3 hours you need to have action, and that's the problem. Is it's too stretched out right now, man.
And by the
But
way, college football is even longer, I think, and
yeah,
that's
like three
about
and a
as
half.
popular.
Yeah,
It's about as popular as MLB right now. So yeah, absolutely. You need to have. I mean, in college football, just to continue with that example, fast-paced offenses, no huddle. We're getting to the line right away. We're throwing the next, dink and dunk pass to the guy 3 yards. But anyway,
right.
uh,
Now it's
but we're moving. And in baseball, it's just a lot of dead time. And it's not just the dead time, but it's just no action. No, something Lindor said. I think it was after the trade, was he was talking about the shift. If you didn't have the shift, that means I got to range and make a play. Ranging plays where I got to dive or I got to backhand and spin or whatever. That stuff, you're losing a lot of that stuff right now too. So there's some things you could change. There's ways to bring, more excitement to the game, more action. They just get around. I think this year is going to be the push where we start to see some changes. I know they're doing some stuff in the minors this year, but with kind of the environment that's been made this year, I think you're going to see that even more pressing. Plus, you got the collective bargaining agreement ending, so
right.
MLB is going to try to get their bang for their buck if things don't, if there's a stoppage or anything like that.
Right. And I mean, look, I think a lot of people are resistant to change and everything, but it's happened before, man. I think I read something about way back early 1900s. They did something, and to the mound, or
They
I forget what it exactly.
I forget the year, but it was actually back in the 1800s. They moved the mound back to
Yeah,
the spot it is now for the exact same reason. Guys were
right.
starting to throw too hard.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
they moved the mound back. You know, there's that 68. They lowered the mound. They shrunk
right,
the strike zone.
right.
So
Yeah, like I think people are resistant to change, but look, it's happened before. This is what you got to do if the product we want the best product of baseball we can on the field to the viewers. That's what we want without you know I guess sacrificing the sport of baseball. We can do that. It can happen.
something
I'm confident it will happen. Do I think it's going to be as popular maybe as basketball or football? Maybe not, but it'll be at least somewhat. We'll get some more viewers, and that's what we want.